Hey guys, welcome to the LOFI kitchen. This is Zon cooking with you today. We are making nachos with our own simple salsa, some smashed guacamole mix, and a savory bit of black beans to hold it all together. Because with a recipe like this, you can't afford to just make a single serving. Sometimes you have to go big. It's safe to say that we'll be eating chips and dips for the foreseeable future. A little warning before we start though, there are a lot of chopping involved, so have those band-aids close by and you might want to cancel arm day. Okay, we are starting off with the sauteed black beans by taking our onions through a mandolin to speed up the process before using our knife to work them down further into a mince. Meanwhile, you want to throw in some butter into your pan to melt until your onions are ready to add them in. Then from there, you want to go ahead and slice and mince a few cloves of garlic, working them down into the same consistency as your onions before adding those in as well. You want your pan to be on a medium-high heat to cook them together. Once they have softened, open your can of black beans and pour the entire contents of the can into the pan. Follow this with a rain of salt and a couple of turns of pepper. Just a couple. Give them a mix before setting them on the stove to cook off the liquid and reduce. Now for the salsa, continue slicing and mincing down your onions that you have previously mandolined. Go from big chops into increasingly smaller chops to work them down into a rough mince. Now the tomatoes, I'm keeping the skin on and going straight into chopping everything. But if you prefer to score and blanch them for about 30 seconds to peel the skin off, you can do so. We will be adding acid from the limes later to break down the salsa, so for me the skin does not stand out too much. First we make slices of the tomatoes with the help of a mixing bowl because my cutting board is only yay big, making sure all the tomato juice gets everywhere, increasing the chance of you slipping and using that band-aid. Once you are satisfied with the mince, or when you had enough, place them all back in the bowl and combine with our onions. Then salt them generously with a few large pinches of salt to start breaking them down. Now we're going to add limes into the mix. A great way to perfume your salsa is to zest your limes into your salt so that every time you season something it smells of fresh lime. Continue working in your halved limes into the mix with the help of a fork to break all the pulp. Take care when working the limes as the fork might slip and pierce your skin. After 2 or 3 limes, give your salsa a taste before adjusting with more salt and reserve in the fridge until we are ready. We can check on our beans using a rubber spatula to scrape on the bottom of the pan to make sure that nothing is sticking or burning down there before taking our new salt and adjusting the taste further. Set it back down on the heat to cook off longer. Now for the guacamole, I'm using shallots to accompany the mix, so go ahead and work it down just like we did for the onions. We are looking for a nice small minced consistency without any of the blood. Once into a container, we start prepping our avocados. First, halve them around the pit and pry open. Remove the pit using your knife, a spoon, or just sheer brute force. Then take a spoon and start carving out its flesh into the container until you have about the same amount as the shallots, or until you run out of avocados. Now back to the lime. Doing the same thing as we did before for the salsa, we are going to add in about 2 whole limes before mixing and tasting to decide if we need more acidity. We then finish off the mix with more seasoning and reserve that into the fridge. Okay, time for the chips. We are taking a baking pan to melt a layer of cheese over it in an oven heated to 350 Fahrenheit. Now taking a large bowl and all of our prepped ingredients, we will start assembling. First with the black beans. In on the bottom and spread out to cover. Add a final pinch of our salt to finish. Then we're gonna pull our chips from the oven to place on top. Follow the hot chips with more cheese, and we empty the rest of the bag on top because I wanted to finish up the bag. Then we hit it again with the cheese. Now that that layer is done, we will build our condiments on top. First with the guacamole, we spoon in on top of the chips, creating a nice little dollop. Cleaning off the spoon, we proceed to the salsa next. Doing the same we did, spooning on the same amount, and lastly the sour cream straight from its container. We finish with more pepper and a healthy rain of cheese on top. And there it is, this nacho bowl that took no time at all to put together and made absolutely no mess whatsoever. It is perfect to put out on the counter when you're having a party, entertaining people, or just by yourself at home over the weekend. By yourself. I really did like the combination. If you do manage to get everything on a chip, it turns out to be quite troublesome to get everything on one chip every single time. So just go ahead and make your rounds with the condiments. Hey guys, thanks for watching my video this week. This was something we made up for a late night dinner as we were busy working on our assignments and lost track of time. In my mind, this wasn't going to take a whole bunch of time to throw together, but I wanted to make it good, so I ended up taking longer. Needless to say, we attacked it off camera, and that's when I realized that I need to really learn how to stop, but I continued anyways. If you enjoyed this video and like what I do, please do check out my Patreon page to support me in making more of these videos for you guys, and I'll see you soon. Take care.